faster than ever, hungry and I'm going to come back and take what is mine, bigger and better. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. Saddle, cut to the chase. I ain't somebody who stays in one place. Ready to go, I'm coming to play. You better know I still got something to say. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know that I was born for this. I was born for this. Never met a match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, 'cause you know I was born. I tell you I was born for this. Ain't nothing gonna stop me now. I was born for this.
The coverage of the Northwest Racing Series. We are set to go. Tricky Triangle, Pocono. Fun times here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round number 17 this evening. It is, of course, coverage from Pocono and our iRacing on LSRTV and Community Radio Network simulcast coverage. Welcome back. I'm Wesley Outland. Justin Prince is right alongside. Justin, what's up, man? Hope you've been doing well. And I'll tell you what, we got a pretty good race here tonight going on at the Tricky Triangle. I was telling John this during the Sim 500 coverage, preemptive to us coming on the air. Pocono is a track, Justin, where it can be ran as a super speedway or a road course because it's just very unique and hard to figure out.
Three distinct corners when it comes to this racetrack tonight. Three different ways drivers can handle those turns in turn. But also when it comes to tonight, it's the potential strategy that we can see come into play several times over. Whether that's with fuel or whether that's with tires tonight. There's so much that can happen when it comes to the Tricky Triangle. This is not an easy place to be able to drive with this car, keep in mind.
No, certainly it's not. And I'm telling you, this is going to be an exciting race here tonight, as we just mentioned. And I'm trying to remember, if I remember correctly, Justin, the three distinct corners, they're different in all of their scenarios. I think one mimics Nazareth, Pennsylvania, which is a track that's not around anymore. I think the other one is Indianapolis, and what is the other corner? What is it, Michigan?
Well, it's Trenton. When it comes to turn one, remember, with the 14 degrees of banking.
Yes.
Then you have the tunnel turn, which is based after Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Turn 3 is the Milwaukee Mile. And for some drivers, they're strong in turn 1 and 3. Others, they like the tunnel turn in turn 2 to be able to make moves. But if you want to be able to execute tonight, you need to find that true balance throughout these corners this evening. Find that preferred groove and make sure you hold on to those tires, because some of the drivers talked about coming into tonight, rear tire wear could be a factor midway through the run.
2.5 miles here at Pocono Raceway. Let's take a look at the weather conditions, bottom right of the monitor there, and you'll see it there, 75 degrees, air temp, wind speed, comfortable, sunny skies, mostly cloudy. I think we're going to see the sun and the clouds pop in, pop out virtually on the sim, and the track temp, my goodness, almost 30 degrees warmer than the air temp, Justin, 106 degrees. What is that going to be on the Tricky Triangle for tires?
Well, it's been talked about when it comes to around lap 12 for tonight. The right rear tire is expected for some to start to fade away pretty quickly. That's right around that crossover point between the balance going neutral to potentially going very loose around the racetrack. So keep that in mind for some of the drivers. They may elect to take an extra pit stop here, Wesley, to make sure they hold on to their cars based on the tires, but many others have to keep this in mind. The estimated fuel window tonight, 34 to 35 laps. It's 70 laps. You could make it on a one-stop, Wesley, if you can save enough gas to get to halfway.
Yeah, play your cards right, and of course that strategy, if you can be there at the end, definitely some things we're going to be watching for sure. Again, Tricky Triangle, 2.5 miles here at Pocono, the next round of the series, of course. Again, it's been a phenomenal year watching all of these drivers here battling in this series, and now we're moving into Season 3 of the Cup Series. What is it, this final stretch before we go into the playoff run? And obviously, 82 laps around the racetrack here tonight for these drivers, ready to go for the Northwest Racing Series at Pocono. And we'll keep an eye. We'll watch all of these things. 80 laps the distance at 200 miles for this race. And again, there's just such a battle that honestly, Justin, we follow week in, week out for the points championship. And it's not done yet. Obviously, it's going to reset, but obviously there's a 1-point lead now between Lake Peterson and Cole Rass. And then, of course, Brian Barnes lost 2 spots last week. Caden Anderson fell back into the top 5 from second as well. And you don't want to miss any races. And obviously, that road course event last week really put them in a bad spot to change up the scoring top 5.
Or so when it comes to Chicagoland. For some drivers, it was like a road course for some of the battling, but it was a very clean race, we'll say. Road America really threw off many of the competitors, we'll say, prior to that on June the 27th that you're referring to, which started to decline a bit with Anderson. Of course, Anderson and Barnes amongst those who either did not make the starts last time out or struggled over the past couple races or so, or specifically at Chicagoland. So it's the type of season, though, where Lake Peterson, he has been the king of the long run. It's the question mark of, can he keep it up, especially knowing some of his fellow championship competitors, they might have rear-world commitments pop up, some of them having success in the rear world as of lately, to consider to try and balance things when it comes to their sim racing commitments as well.
And by the way, I have just been informed that it is actually a 70-lap race tonight, not 80 laps. And I think you hinted on that a few moments ago as well, Justin. And I was actually looking at the calculation of the weather strategies and the points, and as well as looking at the analysis. And it was saying 200 miles, 80 laps. But I'm understanding they've knocked off those 10 laps. And obviously, man, I hate to say this. This makes this race so much more crazy in strategy. Like you said, you can make it on one stop. You might be able to go the distance if you're smart enough on strategy to be able to save your equipment. And here's something else we didn't even really mention a lot about there, Justin. We get a lot of caution flags. That helps drivers conserve fuel too.
A caution in the early going, if anything, makes it very easy for some drivers to say, let's top off, get some gas, and then in turn, be able to fill up and try and go to the end fairly easily. That's the main thing. If it goes caution-free, it's going to be very nerve-wracking, though, when it comes to the tires, because that's the major thing. The tire wear expected to really kick in, as mentioned, around that 9 to 12 lap mark tonight. And that's where, for many drivers, that's where the major decision comes into play. Do you try and go for an extra stop and try and make up the time in terms of pace? Or do you try and stretch it out, save the gas as hard as you can, while making sure you get to that halfway mark?
Yeah, and we're getting ready now for qualifying to take place here to see what drivers can get. This qualifying has just expired. It looks like, again, believe it or not, again, Lake Peterson has just put down fast time, and the field is grinning. Believe it or not, we're ready to go. 70 laps here at the Tricky Triangle of Pocono. Starting lineup ready to go. Round 17. Yes, again, Lake Peterson, again, another pole, again, looking for win number 8, the all-time winner of the points leader, and the 2020 Cup Series champion of the Northwest, Sean Breitzman, in 46. Row number 2. We'll find Jeff Stabnow, Billings, Montana, 24 to the outside. Noah Sherwinski, top 3 a couple last week, and he'll start 4th. Row number 3, Dan West Jr., 2-time defending Northwest Truck Champion, and Stephen O'Hare in the 41. Row 4, Pocono, Devin West, Bristol winner 2 years in a row. Chris White, defending series champion of last year. And around out your top 10, it's going to be Brian Barnes, who wants to get that points lead back, and the Catman James Viney, a solid top 10 in the triple three.
The number 11 of Frank Harris continuing his strong performances in qualifying as of late, starting in 11th spot in car 11. Toby Ritter's coming out momentum from Chicagoland, starts in 12th. to round out row 6. Row 7, Robert Gambill's 54 machine starts to the inside of Chris Camary, starting in 14th tonight in car 15. Speaking of 15th, behind them is Brett Johnson in that spot. Dean Moore returns to the field tonight in the 33. It's been a while since we've seen the Beaver State Racing driver. He'll start 16th. Troy Daggett starts 17th in row 9, alongside Aaron Cooper. And rounding out your top 20 in row 10 tonight, the number 22, it's Ron Hunter, and Stephen Paulison is in 20th.
Row 11 will find Carl Burke, the legend of the 53, to the outside. Billings, Montana, John Ottenbacher in 89. Row 12 will find Briar Reynolds in the 12. Dana Rogers in the 07 as the field peels off pit road. Row 13, Russ Lundberg. Look at that hair! And Kenyon Anderson's back in the 37. Row 14, Casey Garber and B.J. Tidrick. His only win on the series, Darlington, 2 years ago. That's the lineup here for these drivers. Ready to go, lights off with a pace car, and we await the green flag next time by here on the 2.5-mile Pocono Raceway.
I can't wait
Just
to see.
in news, I'm sorry, but I was going to say, drivers you think we should keep an eye on, besides the guys that are normally the front runners, that are normally we keep up, like obviously Super Friends and Lake Peterson. Who's other drivers that could have a good run here tonight at Pocono you watched in practice?
I think Noah Sherwinski I'm keeping my eye on because he's changed the manufacturer for tonight, but this seems to be a pretty solid running track for him. He was one of the quickest drivers in practice. I wouldn't be surprised to see Noah Sherwinski join the conversation, although technically he's also in the Super Friends grouping. Outside of that grouping, though, keep an eye on the West Family Racing drivers. They are back in the field 5th and 7th, respectively. Good track position for cars 55 and 5 tonight.
Going to be somebody to watch as well. We'll watch that West family, as you mentioned, Justin, is working their way into that final turn. Okay, so we mentioned 2.5 miles. This racetrack is 2.5 miles here at Pocono. Obviously, such fast speeds can be set here. This is, again, the track that you could run like a super speedway or a road course. What turn 4, as it says off of the wall there. We're ready for the field to come to the green flag. Good time here in Pocono. We're set. Round 17, Northwest Racing Series. Green flag in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. It's a 70-lap slugfest as they'll send it. Justin Princeton to turn number 1.
Good launch for the race leaders as Lake Peterson inside. Brightsman hard on the outside. Keeps it even. Peterson, though, preferring the old line. Clears by Brightsman. Stab now trying to poke his way around in 3rd. The battle is on for 4th on back. Sherwinski trying to clear.
Back straight away, they go at speed. Look at that camera rocking and rolling and shaking and bobbing. Down into that turn, into turn number 1, into 2 now. That sharp turn moves into that tunnel turn now into turn 2. And look at now, Brightsman and Peterson battle. Look at Jeff Stabnow. I'm going to tell you what, Justin, if there's a track that Jeff Stabnow can get off the schneid and get a win, it is Pocono. We know how good he does here at the Tricky Triangle.
He's been also somebody trying to build momentum back after a very slow start to the season. After the first lap, he's holding on to the 3rd position. The question is, can he hold on to it long run, trying to get clean air up on the 2nd line? And keep in mind, you see the gears. Drivers expected to shift today between 5th gear and 4th gear.
On the outside, Brightsman stuck on the bottom. All of these teammates for the LSRTV team working off the corner. It's still Peterson, Lake Peterson, just leading that opportunity up in the front spot. 30 plus, sending it down into turn number 2.
So far, Stabnow showing good momentum compared to Lake Peterson up towards the front. Amongst your biggest movers, Kate Anderson up +3 at the back of the field, +2 Camary Cooper along with B.J. Tidrick. And as these drivers look to settle it down, this is a track where it's a rhythmistic circuit. To be able to set up passes here, Wesley, you need to be able to take your time, be able to set it up, or else you will go backwards quickly if you burn up your tires trying to make a pass.
Yeah, you don't want to burn up those tires, as you said, Justin. Watch them as they work their way back straight away. Look at Jeff Stabnow. Jeff Stabnow, he is just reeling in the Hooters 9 of Peterson. trying so hard to methodically just play this strategy. And obviously, Justin, we have seen the last couple of years just be a fallout of bad luck for the number 24 Billings, Montana native. And if he could just find some way of getting back to victory lane, that gets you back into that winning momentum ways again, and that strategy of feeling your confidence built back as well.
Exactly, and that's a major thing when it comes to momentum, right? If you end up having a lack of confidence, you end up being overcautious maybe, you end up being timid on your moves, you end up making mistakes because you don't have the confidence to fully put the power down, and in turn, you might be leaving a lot of time on the table. So it's so important to be able to get that first stride, to be able to build that confidence, and in turn, be able to execute. Big trouble, Brightsman nearly off the corner for turn 2. Here comes Dan West Jr. to make it a fight for third.
And by the way, that was on board with Sean Brightsman just a few moments ago, a lap ago, with the Brights Boutique number 46 Toyota, as he's in third spot. But as they work their way down the start finish, there is a just log jam of traffic behind him. Meanwhile, Jeff Stabnow, grin on his face. He's going to sit into turn 1 and look for the lead on Peterson.
On the outside, Stabnow trying to go the long way. Can't make it work, if anything. Brightsman trying to make a fight for it on the inside. Dan West Jr. takes advantage of Brightman's check up. Here comes West Jr. No draft, though. Brightsman has draft.
You see that scoring ticker on the top left all the way down scrolling, and you see where your favorite driver is right now, Dan West Jr. Right in that middle of that LSRTV sandwich, for those three drivers of Stabnow, West, and Brightsman, 2, 3, and 4. Sherwinski waiting back in the top 5. Not anymore. White goes for that spot, and Jeff Stabnow, there he is, just trying so hard. A lap ago, side by side, he's now fell back a quarter of a second, if you will, to Peterson. As this all goes on into turn number 1, Sherwinski, White, O'Hare, this goes behind the leaders in the corner.
And the Snake expected to be a major impact with how big the draft is here at Pocono with this car. Chris White, this time around driving with the W colors on the machine. And in the apron, Stephen O'Hare drives to the outside, zips on around. Car 41 jumps right on by to move up to 6th.
Chris White, Toyota Camry down to the inside. He'll make a move now on the run on O'Hare. Sherwinski, Noah Sherwinski, the black and white, 96 in front of them. You're on board now with Chris White, the defending Cup Series champion. He's going to try to thread the needle. Justin, he goes 3 wide, but he couldn't get there. And now O'Hare's going to possibly be the meat in the sandwich.
Sherwinski starting to struggle a little bit towards this middle run, losing ground on the high side, trying to find a way around his O'Hare. Sherwinski picks up draft, and the car's in front from the top 4. That allows Sherwinski to launch it into the corner. Too strong as he hits the bumps nearly.
Lost that ground and momentum there as O'Hare stuck on the bottom, trying to drift up now in front of Noah Sherwinski on board. Chris White still. There you see on board, you see the battle for that position on the bottom right in the small screen. And look at O'Hare just weasel up in front of the 6 and take that spot away.
And so far, Chris White doing a solid job in this race, we'll say. When it comes to trying to pace himself, these drivers have paced their way back up to the rest of the top 4. The top 11 are broken away by nearly 3 full seconds. Scrape to the wall coming up from O'Hare. Doesn't hold him up. Meanwhile, Pack 2, they're having a hornet's nest of a fight for the top spots. 12th led by Brett Johnson. Chris Camary, 13th.
Yeah, you've got the 11 cars in the back side Justin mentioned, and then behind there is this second pack of cars. As well, all this happening, Camary leading that battle now. Johnson, here goes now Robert Gamble and Frank Harris having a nice battle of position. That's, if you will, call it the snake's patch, if you will, right in the middle of this field of close to 30 cars here at Pocono.
And some of these drivers in this pack using up the tires. Frank Harris having to lift a little bit. Now up at the front of the group. Brett Johnson again on Chris Camary drives inside. Camary holding on. Loses ground. Up in the front though. O'Hare looking to pass Sherwinski again. Chris White electing to try and use the draft to pass car 41 on the outside. Can't get there.
Back in the corner, number 1 and 2, Peterson. Right there, half a car length back is Stabnow. Stabnow to West, 1, 2, and 3. 2 car lengths back there. West now to Brightsman, half a car length to Sherwinski. All of this going on now as the conga line goes single file up to the outside safer wall barrier into turn number 2, Justin Prince.
And through turn 2 at the tunnel turn, trying to set things up. West Jr., he's been trying different lines, using the 3rd line, using the 4th line even in turn 3. Hockey Miles style facility part of the corner. Dan West Jr. trying to arc it down, not able to set things up. Brightsman, meanwhile, holds off a challenge for 4th.
Field comes off the outside lane out of turn 4. Back to start finish. Peterson now drops to the bottom of the racetrack. And
Trouble
now
front straightaway.
Backs up. Oh my goodness, Ottenbacher in the wall.
Ottenbacher slides it up the racetrack, right to the heart of the circuit. Caution is out for the first time. Ottenbacher gets bounced off of by car 33, Dean Moore, coming off of turn 3. Ottenbacher, significant damage, shreds apart the chassis.
Watch the replay. We've already got it up for you. Live camera on the bottom right. This is your replay, and you see Caden Anderson, Moore, 89, Ottenbacher right there. And all of a sudden, we saw that little contact, and oh, wow, and more contact there. And then Anderson gave him that last shot to the inside safer wall barrier. And then Ottenbacher goes spinning across the start-finish line. And luckily, it's only a single car accident, Justin.
Huge damage, though, for Ottenbacher. That's a long tow that Ottenbacher likely will have to make because he couldn't get going with the chassis damage.
By the way, timing and scoring had Jeff Stabnow as the leader of the race, and that is why the 24 is up in front, Justin. Right here, you see this change right when all this was happening. 24 was scored the lead, and you saw Peterson trying to battle back on the inside when the caution failed. However, timing and scoring gives the lead back to the 24.
So Jeff Stabnow just took advantage of the run there, and I will say that is a catch-22, Wesley, when it comes to what Lake Peterson was doing. For those listening in on CRN, it's essentially a snake that you see with IndyCar competition sometimes, where drivers try and break the draft. Here's the tough part. You stay in a line, it's actually quicker with the stock cars a little bit, and that's exactly what Stabnow did. Held his line, used everyone else's draft behind to push him forward, and was able to take advantage of the scoring loops. At the top of the caution, everyone can make it under one stop from here, Wesley. Now it's down to being able to keep it clean in the tire wear for many of these drivers now.
Jeff Stabnow, Lake Peterson, Dan West Jr., Sean Brightsman, and Noah Sherwinski. Your top 5. Here come cars under the pit lane. Justin, you mentioned this could be the money stop right here if we could go the rest of the distance. They're all coming in.
Still have to make it one more time on fuel. Some drivers not taking the fuel. Brightsman, White, Johnson taking the track position. Everybody else staying out on the racetrack with 58 laps to go in this one. Stabnow leading them the slow crawl up 55 miles per hour to the pit lane for the first time. Carl Burke also staying out. Peterson, a major mistake, nearly runs into the pit wall.
Peterson, Dan West Jr., and Noah Sherwinski in front of you, all overshooting their pit boxes. Jeff Stabnow flawlessly in, flawlessly out. He comes out at the lead in 24. And here comes the rest of the cavalry coming to the pit exit.
O'Hare having a good pit stop, able to jump right next to Dan West Jr. But remember, 4 drivers surprisingly stayed out here. I am not sure exactly the play here because we know Brightsman and company are known for the rolling of the dice. Well, Chris White, Brett Johnson, Carl Burke all just elected to stay out here, which is intriguing. Wesley.
Jeff Stabnow, we got our in-car communication with the driver of the 24 LSRTV Sierra in 4K Ford. Jeff, me and Justin were saying this. If there's a track that you could possibly get off the schneid and win at after a 2-year drought, it would have to be here tonight at Pocono. You're very confident right now in the car. I do not in any way want to jinx you because I feel like I have a habit of doing that. But my goodness, that car looks probably the best we've seen all year so far.
Yeah, we're feeling pretty comfortable out here. Got good speed. I think the key is we didn't push it there in that run. Was actually trying to save some tire, and we still had enough speed to get up there. I think Dan gave me a pretty lucky push right there at that caution to get me the lead. I don't know that I had, an easy way around Lake unless I really started pushing some stuff hard there and maybe burn some stuff up. But we had no problem keeping pace, saving tires. So, yeah, feeling good.
Well, the top 4 stayed out here for this upcoming restart. What's the game plan to try and focus forward? Because based on the numbers projected before the race, you can make it on a one-stop. These drivers on much older tires taking the gamble. How do you play this out now is the major question.
Well, I think the tires are going to go way before the fuel on this race. I think it's going to be a tire strategy. So I don't know how the strategy is going to play out, but as far as on this restart here, I'm just going to try to carefully pick my way through. I'm not worried about lead laps right now. I'm just trying to stay connected to the front pack and save tires for probably the first half of this race. That's really my only goal.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to it again. And by the way, it was already cut from 80 laps to 70 laps, so you got to definitely get up on the wheel for sure. Thank you for your time, Jeff. Good luck.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
He's right now going to be in the numbers, fifth position when we go back to the green flag. As again, Justin said, Brightsman, White, Johnson, and of course that golden black car there as well. They did not pit. Those cars did not pit, and that is the driver of Carl Burke. They keep changing their car colors on me, Justin, and it's kind of confusing us here.
Well, when it comes to the 6 machine, that was something that the certain brand on that car tonight had opened up invitations for various different drivers and various different gamers across the community to reach out for. It looks like Chris White amongst those who have been approved to be able to run the W colors tonight. Looking to try and make them look proud as he tries to channel his inner, well, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, and Ryan Vargas all at once.
Yeah, and I was also referring to the black and gold and red of Carl Burke's car. We're used to seeing him in the blue, Carolina blue colors. Green flag back in the air. Ready to do this again, Sean Brightsman. Right there on the restart. He'll send it off into turn number 1 right about now. Contact. Oh, my goodness. Johnson turned in to Carl Burke into the pack. Cars are crashing on the restart. And we've got calamity. Who got collected? My.
What in the world?
Looks like Paulison is involved. Burke. Watch this. I mean, did he turn down? He turned
no.
to 7?
I think there was a bump here from Peterson. Watch the back end of Burke. Peterson's right there. You see right there, he's buttoning up. He's trying to check up because that would be a triple bump draft.
Oh!
Just turns him.
And how lucky is Jeff Stabnow? Finding collected. Ritter's got a piece of it. Paulison. Some others trying to go through that wreck is Rogers. Oh, my.
Not what you want to see on lap 15 of the race. That's a lot of faster pairs being utilized right there. If anything, for a couple of the drivers, that cost them at least a lap.
And that whole cautions scenario taking place again as Sean Brightsman in the 46. Did he pit?
Still looking for the pace car.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. Why is he speeding? Well, they're yellow flag, but I think they're trying to catch up to the, as you said, the pace car here. So, Justin, how lucky was Jeff Stabnow? We were just talking about that. I mean, oh my goodness, he comes so mere inches away from getting caught up in that accident.
If anything, Stabnow not having a great restart was the main reason that he was able to avoid it, because if he had a better restart, he would have been right on the back bumper of Brett Johnson, probably collected right into it off the fender of possibly Peterson, but you never know. But when it comes to Stabnow, he was lucky indeed, I think, in just terms of just the circumstances and the timing of where he was at the time.
Yeah, we'll get out the yellow flag. Any takers coming to the pits? We'll see that here in just a moment, and we'll reset them here after yellow flag for the second time on lap number 15. We're also approaching the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio network identification on the Community Radio Network with the Northwest Racing Series from Pocono.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
Back here at Pocono. Thanks again to NC 811. Call before you dig. Not only doing some sponsors with them, but also for their Sim 500 Monday night series. Congratulations again to the winner earlier tonight. We had the coverage for that for you as well. All right, so now we settle in here for Josh Parker, by the way, winning at New Hampshire. Pocono for them next week. We're at Pocono now for the Northwest. And I got to think strategy. Justin, can you still follow that same strategy we're referring to? Or now, since we're 2 yellow flags in, this kind of changes things up a little bit. 1 to go next time by, we come to green.
I wouldn't say it changes it up at this point. It's still one stopper to get to the end at this point. It's if there's an error caution around lap 35 is where it gets intriguing, because that's the green light to make it to the end projected on fuel. So give it an hour, 20 laps, and then we end up potentially having a strategy bonanza here, to say the very least. But Brightsman in white, making it work on the older tires for the minute.
Brightsman, White, ready to go. Peterson and Stapp now. They'll be on the outside for the restart this time. We settle up for the restart for row number 2. Stephen O'Hare, Dan West Jr., row number 3. Son Devin West behind him, along with Noah Sherwinski, Brian Barnes, Aaron Cooper. Top 10 right now as well as they set up for a green flag restart in the Geico restart zone, this time by after the second caution of the race.
Keeping my eye on Caden Anderson for the restart in 13th, will say, Wesley, because he's your biggest mover right now, up 13 positions. That 37, who did not set a time in qualifying, is just carving his way through this field. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, we'll watch that driver for sure. Look at how he's pulling off positions. Another driver I mentioned, how about Aaron Cooper also? Just amazing how he's improved here in probably the last month with races also. And keep an eye on that driver. Here we come, ready. What turn 4? Pocono off the corner. Here they come. Back down that long straightaway. Pace car, safety car will come on in to the pit lane. It's going to be Brightsman. White, front row, back to the Geico restart zone. They come to speed. Brightsman pull it away. No assist this time from Peterson. Green flag. Back gone. 46 jumping up. Clear a path by those other cars. He will now send it into turn number 1. Stab now, threads the needle. Went 3 wide, then hugs the bottom as they go into turn 1.
Out of turn 1, West Jr. nearly getting to the stab now. Now under attack by O'Hare. O'Hare with the pole a bit. West Jr. with the draft. Getting some help now, though. The 71 pushing O'Hare forward. Sherwinski backs it up. Aaron Cooper jumps past as O'Hare keeps the battle up.
Working off turn number 2 now. Boy, look at this gaggle of traffic right behind Dan West Jr. and Stephen O'Hare. All the while this going on, Jeff Stapp now closing in that 4th spot right behind Chris White. And here comes Aaron Cooper trying to make a move on Dan West Jr. Bonsai move. Chris White almost broadsided off the machine of Jeff Stapp now. Stapp now keeps on going. West now 3 wide in the middle. Are you kidding me? They go into 1.
They try and straighten it out, but for the race lead, Lake Peterson zipping by in turn 1. Sean Brightsman making it look easy. The Hornet's Nest staying busy though. Stab now the second on fresh tires. West Jr. becoming the third driver if he can find a way. All well, they battle 2 by 2 a couple rows deep in the midst of the pack.
While Peterson and Stab now battled this best battle on the racetrack, Peterson and Brightsman, and then Stab now. He's trying to hold off White. He's trying to hold off O'Hare. Those two drivers we're watching in the clinic as they set their sail off of turn number 3, coming back to the main straightaway here in Pocono, and they'll put down lap 19 on the board this time by.
Those older tires started to really show their age for those top runners from the restart, to say the very least. And that was the major gamble for Chris White and Sean Brightsman, hoping that those tires would not be the major difference. Sherwinski making him look silly on the outside, trying to zip around. Aaron Cooper boxed in as Devin West tries to find a way high side too.
Here they come back down the straightaway off of turn number 1. Back into the corner, it's Peterson. Peterson is that leader. Brightsman in second. Look at now this changeup. Here comes now the legend Carl Burke down to the inside. He'll close in, slither, and pull off that machine on Gamble. Gamble now closes on Harris and Barnes. All of this is happening with Anderson also trying to get back in this mix. Here they go up the hill into turn number 2.
Off through turn 3 now. Robert Gamble amongst those, trying to find a way to carve forward. So is Brian Barnes, who's lost spots since the drop of the green flag in 11th position. Picking up a little bit of draft now off Chris White. Backs away from the draft back to Gamble. Back along the high side. Chris White is dropping like a stone. The old tires are dropping and fast.
You mentioned when we came on the air, the snake. There was a lot of snaking going on, as is a term used in IndyCar and Formula One like last night in the major series. And obviously, we are seeing this happen here with these Cup cars at Pocono. And you kind of try to break the draft, if you will, Justin, to clear the air, cut off the air of your other competitors, like Brightsman now. He's a sitting duck. He's falling back, dropping back big time. Brightsman at one time from the penthouse to the outhouse. He falls back midway in the top 10.
7/10 last time by for Brightsman. The tires have just gone off a cliff. As to be expected around that 12-lap mark. That's how long they were before the caution flag started flying on that rubber. Sherwinski on the outside, turn 1, uses Brightsman as a pick, zips around himself in O'Hare to move himself back up to 4.
Yeah, going for that 2 for 1, if you will, as they hit the back straightaway at Pocono. Here they go into the turn 2 now, part of the racetrack. The tunnel turn clears through that. Now working their way back down this straightaway one more time. It's Peterson. Stab now, West, Sherinsky, Brightsman. You're seeing that now along with O'Hare. And Devin West has now also tried to sneak into this battle. And man, I gotta give it again to Aaron Cooper. He's also trying to follow what O'Hare does. They cross the line. We're now 22 laps in, and we're gonna go and change your scoring ticker up on the top. You see the entire interval distance from the leaders as they go back off into turn 1 and 2. And as I go and do into that, Justin, Jeff Stab now, who we spoke with after that first caution, doing exactly what he said he needed to do. Keep his car clean, stay out of trouble, conserve tires, and be there at the end. He's in that number 2 spot as Brightsman now holds off O'Hare and West in the turn 1 and 2.
For the tunnel turn this time, Devin West building up the run. O'Hare nearly contact. O'Hare diving his way to the left side of the track, inside of the 5. In through turn 3, Brightsman backing up his entries, boxes things in 2 by 2. Ahead of the pack, this has formed a second grouping that's lost more than a second to Sherwinski. They've lost the toe of the top 4 with all the fighting.
Yeah, we're going triple screen, if you will. Showing you different angles of all the great racing action that's going on around the racetrack. 3 different camera angles of excitement happening. As all the while, the big screen is O'Hare and Brightsman. You're on board with Caden Anderson on the upper right. And the bottom right is, of course, I believe, B.J. Tidrick's car as those drivers work their way around the racetrack here off of that tunnel turn into the straightaway here. 3 turns. What turn 4? Pocono. It's fun. It's like a road course. It's like a super speedway, and it has not disappointed so far tonight for the Northwest, Justin.
Pack starting to settle up for that grouping as O'Hare trying to run away from it. Gamble trying to force himself to the second line around Brightsman. Forces the lift. Gamble puts himself on the wall, keeps it going. Aaron Cooper takes advantage. Caden Anderson takes Brightsman 3 wide down the front stretch. Brian Barnes zips around the outside of Brightsman. Anderson still can't clear now and does around Brightsman. Back
Yeah,
single file.
You're on board up the upper right there with Brian Barnes. And obviously, you know, Justin, Brian Barnes wants to get a really good finish in points day, because if you remember, he was kind of teeter-tatter back and forth between him and Raz for the championship points lead before the playoffs, and he missed last week, and now he almost goes under the back end. Is all in trouble. In front of him is Anderson's car, and they save it. No,
That's
I'm sorry, that's Robert Gamble.
Robert Gamble smacking the wall coming out of the tunnel turn. No significant damage on Gamble, though. Just lots of lost time for car 54, the Aerokinetics machine. Brightsman amongst those zipping on by. On board Barnes, upper right-hand corner, trying to set things up at the head of the pack. Cooper leads it. Anderson looking to change that, though, into 1.
So let's set it up for you. You've got Cooper leading that cavalry. You watch the big battle there on the big screen. In the upper right, you've got on board with Brian Barnes. In front is him of Caden Anderson. Behind Brian Barnes is the bottom right, and that's on board with Sean Brightsman. Then it's Harris. All this going on lap number 25 of 70. Pinned to halfway here at Pocono, and probably the best battle on the racetrack as Frank Harris making a move on the inside as Sean Brightsman.
To the inside, Frank Harris amongst those on the newer tires. Brightsman continues his descent through the pack. Harris not able to complete the move. A big cut to the left from Cameri. He had a bobble coming in loose. Robert Gamble's into the pit lane. Gamble has had enough of his tires with 44 to go, but it's outside the fuel window by 9 laps.
That was something I was going to ask you, Justin, is how we do see Gamble come to the pits on full screen. Obviously, if we don't get another caution, do we have a green flag pit stop? Well, oh my goodness, the Gamble overshot.
He just pit for a faster pair in the middle of a green flag run. I am not sure why he just did that.
Wow. That's dedication right there. He wanted a nice looking race car.
But it lost him 36 seconds to the leader now in general.
Maybe he knows something we don't, Justin. Maybe he thinks the storm is brewing and there's a caution on the horizon.
Then he might have had taken fuel.
Yeah.
But
Chawinski, well, look at Noah now. Well, how about this? You know, Justin, you mentioned when we came on the air, this is the guy you just wanted to watch. Noah Chawinski right there in second spot.
These drivers had to work hard to be able to close a 1.2 second gap to Lake Peterson. Sherwinski, a couple laps ago, dived it around Stabnow. Peterson starting to struggle, looking a bit tight. Sherwinski getting a huge bump trap from Stabnow into turn 3. This might be on the next lap or so. Sherwinski looking hungry.
Looking hungry there as there's Peterson, Sherwinski, Stabnow, and West right there. That's DWJ, by the way. That's Father West, two-time defending Truck Series champion as well. And this going on here down into turn number 1. As all the while we see Lake Peterson under attack by Noah Sherwinski. All this going on. He's looking for the lead, Justin. He's looking for the lead of a turn 1.
To the inside, Sherwinski heading to the tunnel turn. Will anybody back off? Peterson keeping it up high. A little deeper for Sherwinski. Just avoids the flat of the apron. Peterson drops out of the lead. Sherwinski to the point for the first time on the oval this season. Stabnow with a push from Dan West Jr. Looks for second and gets it as well.
And he clears by Peterson. Got from 4th to 3rd, now to 2nd. And move him now to P2. Justin, tell him the tape as Peterson and Dan West Jr. make contact in the back. No, tell him the tape. Do you know any more about Noah Sherwinski, man? This new kid on the block just came out of nowhere.
One of the real world racers, someone that we've seen, remember, make his debut at Road America, where it was a rough one. He's amongst the Caden Anderson Racing Group, hence the Super Friends banner. Not a surprise to see the speed on the oval. Chicagoland, he showed some improvement. Tonight, he showed major strides as Peterson drops back to fourth.
Well, I tell you what, I know he's 49th in the scoring point standings, but my goodness, if he can get a win, do you know how that will just shoot him up the scoring pylon? My, and put him into the history books with that Camaro right there on that no-sponsored black and white Chevy Camaro 96, working off of turn 3, back to start finish. Here comes now Jeff Stabnow, right behind him. Dan West Jr. also there. And we're working lap 30. Next time by at the tricky triangle, they go back into the corner. 3, 2, 1, turn 1 approaches.
The countdown is on for Stabnow to see if he can count down the gap going down for Sherwinski. Huge crackle of the throttle coming out of the corner. Stabnow tight. West Jr. staying committed, though, on the bump draft, heading to the tunnel turn. And that's where friends can be helpful. This track works like the super speedway, as you mentioned a bit, and Stabnow and West Jr. are emphasizing that importance of working together.
Right there, hooking up with one another in that third and fourth position, or second and third position, actually. Noah Sherinsky. Obviously, he's got that clean air in front of him, but I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because you got nobody to help you if you got everyone else behind you trying to run you down, Justin. And, you know, we always use that analogy. You can't block every lane. In this place here in Pocono, you see the black lines around the track. 7 lanes go down to like 2 or 3 when you go into the corners.
Stabnow, though, with the crossover, setting up the run, looking for the side draft, looking for the race lead for the first time since the caution waved earlier in this race. Stabnow inside, clears on by, makes it look easy.
24 back to the lead. Jeff Stabnow back to P1. Sherwinski, though, battles back on the inside with the help of Dan West Jr. now to the inside, helping the 96. And he returns the crossover, and now he tries to go for a second on Stabnow out of turn 3.
Sherwinski holding on. Devin West smacks the wall, holds on to it. Still able to chug on as O'Hare keeps it side by side for 4. Meanwhile, Stabnow looking for a way to be able to pull back the draft. 21 laps into the run currently. Sherwinski up the bumps, hits the bumps hard on the bottom end point. Here comes Stabnow with West Jr.
Jeff Stabnow battling along there with Dan West Jr. trying to go 3 wide, thread the needle there for a minute. To the inside of the racetrack, Stabnow clears by Sherwinski. Now DWJ goes after Sherwinski. He wants to go after Stabnow. Can't get there. Single file conga line working off turn 2.
Sherwinski backing it up and waiting patiently now to see if there's another chance in his Chevy. Sherwinski tonight, 4 laps led before that point. Stabnow looking to try and add to those totals, meanwhile, up at the front. Meanwhile, it's worth noting with Sherwinski, the youngster originally from the state of Washington, now based out of Wisconsin, a developer by day and a part-time iRacer by night, looking to try and watch this battle.
Remember when I was telling you about Pocono and how much Jeff Stabnow likes Pocono in his 37 career wins, okay? 37 career wins. Caution is out. Well, approaching halfway, yellow flag will fly.
This could make it interesting on the fuel. Looking for the reasoning for the caution. It was in the battle for 17th, Paulson and Tidrick, that brought it out in turn 1 as a result of the trouble. And it's a pretty ugly incident, we'll say, in terms of the different angles taken. Paulson tried to take the wider arc. Tidrick thought the door was open, showed the norms, and then slammed the door up 3 lanes.
Yeah, caution out, man. Tough break there from Paulson. We saw him last night in the Formula One coverage of the major series, Austrian Grand Prix. Of course, back with the Northwest, Robert Gamble also. So, Jeff Stabnow, my statistic, Justin. Jeff Stabnow in his 37 career wins on the Northwest Racing Series banner. This is start number 337 tonight. He has 38 wins, 56 poles, and of course, his most recent win was on July 30th, 10 days from 2 years of 2020 when he won at Mossport. He won his last Northwest truck race. His last Northwest Cup win came on April the 27th, 2020 at Charlotte at the Roval. So there you go. It's been a while since Jeff Stabnow has found victory lane. Oh, and as we get ready to go to commercial break, you know why he likes the Tricky Triangle, fans? He has 6 podium finishes and 4 wins at Pocono. We're back in a moment.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the second year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play. Check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSR TV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too. It's broadcast personality Wesley Outland up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week.
Back here after halfway, Pocono. Hey, look who's in 17th. How about that, Justin? BJ Tittrick, and you got some, yeah. So we got a CM Real Racer joining us on Finish Line. Obviously, the current NASCAR National Points Champion of the Advanced Auto Parts Series Weekly Championship. Son of Scott Riggs, Lane Riggs is joining us. We're going to have on Clay Jones and some other stuff. We're going to talk about the shenanigans that is not racing at Bowman Gray Stadium. I've got a nice little soapbox about that and so much more coming up this Wednesday. You want to check it out. All right, so let's get it done. Go ahead, Justin.
I was about to say, sounds like an exciting show, but I will say as well, when it comes to tonight, it's been an exciting race. Not just with the storyline of Stabnow, of course, but when it comes to the comers and goers. Anderson's been charging to the pack. Lake Peterson's been good on the short runs tonight. It's been that type of a night where it's similar to what we've seen with Chicagoland, where there were several different contenders throughout the night, and the different strategies could get interesting from here because everybody can make it from here as long as they've been clutching and coasting. But during these pace laps, there was an extra pace lap with the car stopping to let by others here.
Yep. One to go down.
So now that makes it much easier for the fuel.
So more or less, you could probably now, for these guys that are playing that fuel strategy game, Justin, go the distance. They know they can go the distance of the race now.
And here's an interesting thing. Remember we seen under green Robert Gamble stopping and trying to take a faster pair?
Yes, yes.
Well, apparently, from what the understanding is, he did not take it. Not because he didn't plan to, but because he didn't realize he didn't take it is the understanding here. So he basically stopped for 2 seconds to
For
just
nothing.
wave at the pit row crew. Yes.
And just, wow. Wow. So I'm understanding he has a fast repair left on the 54 car.
Correct.
Wow. He's fell back to 15th, by the way. He got lucky, as you mentioned. He needed a caution flag. We're ready to go now. Second half of the race. Justin Prince, I'm Wesley Outland. Phenomenal work by Rocket Media Live Sim Racing Productions. People in the house. Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, punching the buttons in the truck. Hot, steamy, Texas, Tricky Triangle, Pocono, and away we go for the second half of this race. And remember, 70 laps the distance. It was scheduled for 80 laps, 200 miles. Not anymore. Make it now 180 miles the distance as they get ready to settle in for the finish of this race. Here we go. Ready for the firebox. Coming to the line. Set. Go. Stab now. West alongside Battle Team LSRTV, CRN door to door. They'll send it off into corner number 1. 3, 2, 1. There's those arching cones to help you know you're cornering the exit, and there they go.
Dan West Jr. shuffles into second, Peterson into third. O'Hare keeping things steady on the outside with Anderson holding on as well. Brian Barnes in the conversation for the top 5 for the first time as well. Right over the back bumper, the 37 heading to the tunnel turn.
Tunnel turn into turn number 2 now. Everyone stays up on the outside of the safer wall barrier. Stab now. Here comes now Barnes. He'll set up on Super Friends, Caden Anderson. This battle heats up behind O'Hare, and Aaron Cooper throws that Toyota on that Chevrolet as they work into the corner out of turn number 3, back to start finish.
Stab now trying different lines. West Jr. having the pole. Dan West Jr. has been committed to pushing Stab now this entire race. The question is, which drivers elect to try and poke around when we get to the closing stages with how things have played out? Barnes amongst those poking out outside, not working.
It'll be 30 laps to go this time, Bob. They come back to the start-finish line. They work their way off the tunnel turn to turn 1. Down the back stretch now, if you will, the big part of the straightaway here. Into turn 2. Turn 2, half a car length, 2 car lengths back. It's Stab now the leader. Dan West Jr. holding off Peterson, O'Hare, Anderson, Barnes, top 5 as they work now into that third turn.
Anderson trying to run it next to the rumble strips. All the way to the O-line, hits the bit of the bumps. Anderson loses ground, not able to take advantage of the pass of O'Hare. Anderson's momentum had been shifting on the longer runs throughout this race. We'll have to keep an eye on if Anderson can find a way around here long term. He's struggling short term.
So you got to remember, there's still, honestly, as we approach 30 laps to go, still a pretty good amount of laps left to go here on this 2.5 mile. You got to be patient. Got to take your time, obviously, Justin. And I think all these drivers know it. That's why they're kind of riding and driving right now. Stab now just turned the fastest lap of the race. 54 flat. 54.00 for the 24.
Pace being set by the Pied Piper of Pocono. Stab now looking for what could be a huge victory for his time after being so long in the Cup Series to victory lane. There's still plenty of time to work with though, and still plenty of potential possibilities with this front straightaway being led by him. Dan West Jr., once again, a friend of his, keeping things steady and having that extra little bit of help for the head of the field. Stabno hits the apron, though.
Yeah, it's been over 2 years since he's won a Cup win. Again, that was at Charlotte Roval, April 27, 2020. Last overall Northwest sanctioned win, besides an ARCA race last year, mind you. An ARCA Tour event was with the trucks July 30th, 2020, and that was, of course, at Mosport. And other than that, it's been a slump of bad hand dealt to the number 24. And there's Peterson, who has had the good hands dealt to him all year long. Justin looking for that 8th win There he is, right there on board with him. He's in third, trying to run down the LSRTV clan as they turn those Camaros and Fords into turn one.
He charges hard to the corner, trying to keep up with those two up in front of him. Lane running single file. Behind him, though, O'Hare trying to hold off the charge of Anderson. Anderson, once again, can't get the bottom to work. Nearly squishes Barnes into the wall, trying to find a way in front of the popsicle car.
Yeah, he's getting a little frustrated there for a second. Mind you, Caden Anderson and Barnes at one time, along with Cole Rask, were fighting and battling back and forth for the championship. So, for the points, if you will, everything resets here at this final stretch before the playoffs. Anderson down to the inside. He's after O'Hare off of what, turn 4. They work back to start finish. Across the line. And as you mentioned, Justin, we mentioned earlier, you go from like 5, 6 lanes. All of a sudden, you can go down to like 3 in the corners. But if you can bonsai and make some aggressive 3, 4 wide moves, and I think we'll see it in the late rally, you can do it here in Pocono.
I'm surprised we haven't seen too much of that quite yet off the restarts per se. Yeah, it's an art form to be able to get it done properly, especially when it comes to potential incidents. Anderson finally working his way to the outside of O'Hare after O'Hare's attempt to pass Peterson doesn't work. Still, Anderson zipping to fourth for the race lead. West Jr. looking to pass Stabnow.
So my question is this, Justin, we're seeing Dan West Jr. go to the lead. We're seeing Stabnow throw the block on Peterson and O'Hare to keep them from getting around the 3 wide. Anderson up the middle on the outside lane with Peterson in the middle, I meant to say. Now they'll fan back out single file. But can these cars up in the front, Justin, do you think they can go the distance?
I think they can go the distance. It's just a matter right now of which one of the drivers is quickest. And I think at this point, they know Anderson's coming in quick. The question is, how does Anderson play this? And in turn, can Dan West Jr. try and break away now that he's the Pied Piper of the pack for the first time?
Yeah, DWJ up in front. Stabnow now under attack on the outside. On the inside, here comes driver left, Caden Anderson. He battles along the 24. They go side by side. Peterson also there below the rumble strips as Anderson as they work off of that third turn. He's sideways. Boy, did you see him fighting the wheel?
Oh, trouble.
Contact. Stabnow bounces hard, slamming into the wall. It's going to be Lake Peterson. Caution out on lap 44. Lap 45. Wow.
Wow, indeed. Simple as one driver getting tight. Stabnow bounced off the wall. Blake Peterson was also very tight and bounced off his quarter panel and his right rear tire. Left rear, should say. But here's the tough thing. When it comes to Peterson, once he ricocheted off of Stabnow with both of them getting so tight, he was just a passenger. Nowhere for him to go as he was sent straight to the barrels.
Straight to the sand trap barrels, to the safer wall barrier, to the inside pit lane, right at the Geico restart zone. And look at everybody just getting on the binders, bonsai left and right to miss him. And the caution is out here off of turn 3 on the front stretch. Justin, my question is this. Do you pit? West, Stabnow, Anderson, you got another opportunity to get some fresh tires? Or is it right now all about track position, my friend?
I mean, we've seen what happened when it came to Brightsman and White trying that same call earlier. I think the answer is, since we're about the same distance here, absolutely come in and pit, because you end up losing all those spots within about 5-10 laps anyhow. It's a gamble if you were to stay out. The question is anybody...
Oh, they're coming in.
willing to gamble? There it is.
Yeah, they're coming in, buddy. If there's anybody going to stay out, it's Stephen O'Hare in the 41. And I think he has decided to stay out. But the fast cars, the ones that were up in the front, you're coming to the pits. And here's the thing, Justin. I got 2 words. No mistakes. You cannot make any mistakes here.
Dan West Jr. looking to slowly roll into the pit lane. Just about had the mistake. Stabnow just made a mistake. Had to back up into the pit stall. Stabnow is still not up on the jacks. Stabnow is still not up on the jacks. Stabnow, I don't think, realizes he's not up on the jacks. And Stabnow will lose every position here.
Wow.
What in the world?
Wow, wow, wow. Lady Luck hands another hand of bad luck for the 24 of Jeff Stabnow, and it's this time in the pit area. I don't think he did anything. What did he do? Just fill up the tank, maybe? You think he just filled up the car?
I
Justin?
almost wonder if he took him a self-EOL. Because remember, he was the car who bounced off the wall, but here's the thing. Peterson was getting tied at the same time. If Stabnow doesn't hit the wall, Stabnow gets turned off turn 3. I don't think he realizes that was a racing deal.
Wow. 23 laps to go, but they come back to start finish, and I'm wondering if he's going to come back in and pit tires, fuel, or whatnot. I don't know what he was thinking there. He just lost all of that position, Justin. You mentioned he's already in 22nd.
I think he has to come back down. He has to. You'd have to think. Stephen Paulison's already coming down. O'Hara's coming back down. There it is for the tires.
Do you think he took a penalty? Do you think his own... I mean, he basically made his own decision that he was going to take a penalty for what happened?
It's either that or the repairs for damage, but keep in mind with the damage model, some drivers have been able to get away from hits like we just seen. He didn't really have any mandatory repairs to do there in the first place, it appeared. By the way, O'Hare picked up a black flag on his pit entry. He's done for the night.
Wow. Man, oh man. And now the pit stop for the 24. Justin, can you say he's out of this race now, or does he still got plenty of time to try to rally to get up here and make it?
Who's been running in the teens all race, has stayed out in the 129, and will lead the field to green, Wesley. This is a call for the green and black 129 to try this out.
Wow, this is awesome. I know Christian Otepelek is definitely excited, cheering on Russ Lundberg now. And Justin, is this the first lap Lundberg will lead in the series? I'm thinking it is.
Been a while since up at the front, but speaking up at the front, coming up to the restart. Green flag is out. We're back underway. Still keep an eye on Stabnow as Lundberg with a good launch.
Lundberg in the GT Ford looking to lead the cavalry. For how long, though? Caden Anderson and Dan West Jr. right there reeling them in, and old Brian Barnes has also been strong all year long. Talk about consistency. He's the Mark Martin of the Northwest Racing Series this year, Justin. Looking for that win, though, in the number 4. He's up in this battle now. 3 wide.
Lundberg trying to go very flat. Anderson hits him. Lundberg pushed up the track. Keeps it off Barnes. Reitzman makes it 4 wide. Anderson all the way to the edge of the apron. He slides up into traffic and wrecks it.
Into traffic. Caden Anderson turned into the pack. Lundberg into the wall. Cars wrecking. Paulison involved. Harris is involved. Oh my goodness.
Wow. First of all, Lundberg, first laps of the series, by the way, very flat. You do not want to run down to the first line on the entry, and in turn, it's just an ugly situation. 4 wide with Anderson hitting the bumps.
Whoa, look at this. Oh, my. It went 4 wide, and then look at Audenbacher, Kamari, multi-car accident. Hey, Justin, you know who this is in favor for? Jeff Stabnow.
Yeah, Stabnow just gained a few spots here. So, at the very least, was out of the trouble. My goodness, though. Just...
Ah, man, I'm telling you what, this has just... By the way, Lake Peterson, Justin, just replied in our broadcast, and he says, and I quote, "Never got tight, just followed Jeff up the track, not thinking he'd plow the wall down." That was Lake Peterson giving his assessment of what happened. The previous caution to now this one with a 20-lap shootout coming up.
I don't know what to say in terms of that regard other than Stabno obviously got tight. And you have to be aware that certain mark that you end up accidentally squeezing up the track or end up getting towards that mark where you have to do the gymnastics of the different line markers at some of the racetracks. Lumberg coming in amongst those in the pit lane. Here's the interesting part of the Stabno case. He apparently meant to fix damage, left too soon to fix it all, came back down, then decided to take the tires. And here's the part that makes it intriguing to me here is, that was his fourth pit stop with the second time around. He still has one or two sets available in the pits, mind you, still. He could have still taken the tires the first time and completed a lot of the damage if there was significant damage.
This is Jeff Stabno?
Yes.
Yeah. So, mathematically, would you say he could still possibly, I mean, obviously, he could still be in the fight, but go down, take new tires, but then you lose track position. So he's kind of stuck in this track position, take tires, lose track position scenario right now.
Well, if you take tires, you lose the track position, but this is a very high tire degradation racetrack. If you're up towards the front of those on fresh tires, you might have a chance if you elect to come down. But here's the thing. It becomes caution precaution. I don't think we see people even duck down and use those extra tires unless they're at the back of the field. It just is going to be too hard to be able to claw your way up from 14th or 15th for the race win at this point.
Pocono tonight for the drivers of the Northwest Racing Series, of course. Coming up to next Monday night, we're off at New Hampshire, Indianapolis, Michigan, Richmond, all on the way. Another road course thrown in that along with Watkins Glen and Darlington. We take off on Labor Day. We come back, and it is the playoffs in the round of 12, September 12th. It's hard to believe. I know it's July 19th. Justin, but it's just amazing. Me and Samuel were talking about it with the Truck Series on Thursday, and we will say the same thing with you with the Cup, man. It's amazing how fast this season's flew by.
Amazing how fast this entire year has flown by, we'll say. But it's been that type of a season. Yes, it's been that type of a season, though, where drivers like Peterson and Anderson have been very dominant. But this type of night, especially with that incident, has just flipped the script of that entire race observation and thought process. Now it's anybody's race up at the front. Aaron Cooper is in fourth. Brian Barnes still looking for a victory. He's up in third here. It could go any direction here. And Brightsman is back in the conversation after leading early on in this one.
Oh, and don't count out also Russ Lumberg. He's all up there making history, and now you can see what Barnes and Cooper can try to do along the way as well. But, Aaron Cooper, best finish, Daytona, runner-up to Cole Raz. Oh, and by the way, Cole Raz, not even here tonight in the number 10. Cole Raz absent. And you know how big of a hit that is now for the driver of the number 10, Justin, as they get ready to come back to the restart and get this thing started again on Pocono. Cole Raz was second in the points, 1 point back to Lake Peterson. Make no doubt about it, he's going to shift the scoring pylon when this race is done.
And here's the thing, with Lake Peterson and DNF essentially tonight, Brian Barnes right there to move up in the points. Green flag.
Back to it again. You're right, 7 laps down for the number 9 of Lake Peterson, ready to settle this thing here. Look at this, Aaron Cooper hooking up there, also battling with Barnes and Brightsman. This is going on. Chris White, remember when he was falling back, dropping like a fish? He's now put the Green Machine back into the top 5 in the 6th. Defending series champion, here he comes.
White trying to bounce back after his strategy call, seen him slip back earlier. Falling behind the 71 off this launch. White out of the tunnel turn a little bit lower, trying to build the speed. Toyota on Toyota on Toyota for 3rd all the way to 5th.
Aaron Cooper up on the outside lane. That Toyota Camry 71 hugs the bottom, and another Toyota in front of him, and another Toyota battles the Ford. Oh, the Chevrolet of Dan West Jr. Now Cooper hung out to dry on the inside of the racetrack. Here comes the fast traffic on the outside. That's Barnes. That's White. That's Brightsman. There goes West. He'll clear them as they go into 1.
Chris White able to cut his way past Aaron Cooper. Devin West trying the second line for the clean air. Oh, wow. Setting things up. White on Barnes now. Barnes, a race-high 3rd position. Trying to find a way to defend up into the tunnel turn this time. A little bit deeper.
Deeper, if you will, as you said. They work their way back off into the corner. It's now Dan West Jr. holding on. 2 car lengths on teammate Sean Brightsman. There's you see Barnes quietly in the Popsicle Toyota. Number 4 holding off now Chris White. Those top 4 right there with one another. And also West, that's Sun West, and Aaron Cooper right there in the top 6. Any wrong moves in the front, and that allows those cars to reel them in. And believe it or not, 2 or 3 car lengths away from also Sherwinski, and making it a big gaggle of traffic for the lead pack in 1 and 2.
Sherwinski still in that 8th position as the buffer car to 9th on back. Keep in mind a big recovery with Carl Burke and BJ Tidrick also in that tow. Those drivers, some of them have had to come back from several incidents, some spins. Stabnow has had to come back from that incident just moments ago. He looks to battle it out for 10th with BJ Tidrick, the Montana 200 winner.
Yeah, BJ Tidrick, the Montana 200, 3rd Montana 200, by the way, for that driver, as well as here comes now Jeff Stabnow. He is sizing up the 72. This is going on for position down the front straightaway to put him back in the top 10. Here comes the 24. He might not be out of it just yet. 15 to go. Pocono, turn 1.
That slap of the race set just now by Brian Barnes moments ago in the 53.9s. The pace is picking up, but the track temperature starting to decrease from its 105 degrees Fahrenheit earlier down to 96. But the tempers are flaring on the racetrack. Carl Burke under attack by BJ Tidrick.
How about also watching all this battle going on to the top 10? Look at them slicing and dicing, going at it inside and outside. And look at Toby Ritters. Look at the big man. Look at Clifford. He goes after Aaron Cooper. This puts him in the number 6-7 position on the racetrack. Cooper battles back on the outside, but Clifford not done.
Clifford able to move right behind Cooper, try and pick up draft. He does have damage on the right rear bumper, keep in mind. So Ritters has kept the faster pair in the pocket, and it's looking to roll on forward. Here's a look at his viewpoint. See with the motion rig putting in the work. You'll see as he goes to the turns, the different dampeners for those watching the LSRTV feed. As he goes to the banking, the rig will follow him and tilt his rig.
Look at that, look at that, look at the way it tilts as he goes into the corner, as you just mentioned, Justin. And Toby Ritters, hello to Bailey also. That driver, I believe, was a lap down earlier in this race, and he fought his way back in to the sunlight, in to the finish of this race. Another solid run for Clifford. Here comes the Bud. Weiser, number 23, you're on board with him. Watch him as he arcs into the corner. Watch the seat turn. Look at that. I love it.
A little bit of a smaller turn this time for the 14 degrees of banking. But he is putting a lot of counter steer possibly in the midst of this. I believe it might be mirrored, in fact, in terms of viewpoint. But either way, just following in line with Cooper, 2.7 seconds back of the race lead of Sean Brightsman for the time being. Ritters looking for back-to-back top 10s on the trot.
This is with Barnes. Brian Barnes now on board with the 4 as he has got, oh my goodness, Dan West Jr. and Sean Brightsman, all of this going on in front of him. I got a feeling a storm's brewing, Justin. I'm telling you, there's a bad moon on the rise.
It's not just because of the clouds, but it's because the battle's really picking up with 12 to go. Barnes inside West Jr. not able to make it stick to the quarter panel. Chris White takes advantage on the second line. White squeezes him down. The W driver looks to go on the outside. Give that a W for Chris White for third.
Yeah, that green number 6 machine, he'll move that Toyota down to the number 3 spot. Remember earlier in the race, he was a top contender when the race started early going, and he fell back like a landslide. But as it counts down to the home stretch, here he climbs back into this battle again. Sean Brightsman, right there, the man in P1. West in second. Look at this. Look at this. Look at, whoa, 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 whoa. White. He had Dan West Jr. just drive up in front of him. All the while, they're single file. Oh, look at this, father and son West now, 2nd and 5th on the racetrack, 11 to go.
West Jr. trying to utilize multiple lines. Third position, big checkup. Chris White nearly hit by Brian Barnes. Devin West trying to give a little bit of a poke. Not able to poke his way around. The Toyota Camry's in front. Stays in a line, looks to work together. All well, up at the front. West Jr. tries to find a way to use any single line to work on Brightsman as Brightsman nearly clocks the wall down.
No doubt about it. We are approaching 10 laps to go, this time by here at the Tricky Triangle. Mind you, if overtime is needed, 2 attempts at a green-white checker if they go past the scheduled distance at a caution flaws. 10 laps to go from the flag stand. Sean Brightsman, he's got the lead, but for how long? Dan West Jr. blocking him inside and outside, and the Weasels will follow into 1.
Will this work out for the driver second on back, though? Remember, the last time we seen the major swerving, it led to the lead change at a time of the caution on the outside. West Jr. not falling low with the snake through 1. Now to the tunnel turn. Looks to regain all the time and does within 2/10.
Monkey see, monkey do. Everybody following the same movement of Brightsman and West Jr. White follows, so does Sun West. Barnes, though, losing a little bit of ground on these drivers as they work their way now into turn number 3. What turn 4? It's time to go. You better go now. Single digits on the horizon as they cross the line here at Pocono. 9 remaining for Sean Brightsman.
Will the tires hold on is the major question. We're past the cliffing point now on those Goodyear Eagles. West Jr. starting to struggle in the dirty air. Brightsman still has been running in clean air much of this run. West Jr. arrow pushes up the track a little bit. Stays within 3/10 down towards the tunnel turn.
Those 5 cars in that pack right there. Then it's Aaron Cooper leading another cavalry pack of Cooper, Ritters, Stabnow, Shurinsky, and Tidrick in the top 10 and more. That's that pack right there. Can they run down the leaders? That's the question. Get a caution, you're back in the catbird seat. This changes everything. 9 to go. That second pack now battling as Anderson and Shurinsky battle side by side for 10th.
They're getting dicey, but dicey for second too. Chris White has a chance to make a move. Dan West Jr. gets fed draft by Sean Brightsman, however. Ducking back in the line, Brightsman starting to gain more ground here by about a 10th per front straightaway with how things have played out. West Jr. looks to eat all that time up like Kirby out of 2.
Oh, and by the way, we do know also that Chris White likes this racetrack here. He's got some wins in the past at Pocono. That number 6 working his way, coming off the corner. He is trying so hard to close in on father, Dan West Jr., and of course Sean Brightsman. And here comes son Devin West, the red West Racing number 5. Christo looking for the lead as they work out of turn number 3. 7 to go. Sean Brightsman, do you block inside or outside? Justin at the stripe.
Well, the inside we've seen be very prevalent, but the outside, if you're able to get to that mark, squeeze on down, make the move. We've seen several times today drivers get the pole especially with the draft lined up outside. West Jr. tries the inside to start off the cracking at the battle. Not able to get to the inside of Brightsman. Able to stay single file. The top 5 covered by 8/10 with 6.5 laps to go.
Yeah, ready to see what he can do here as the laps are winding down into that corner. 7 to go. You better go now, and you better hope if you're behind them that you get a LRC, a late race caution, to put them back in the dance, but you do not want to be a part of it. Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., right there for the lead at the line. 6 to go. Cross the start finish now, and he is bump drafting. Couple of teammates bump drafting one another. Down into turn number 1, we go triple cam. This is on board with Dan West Jr. looking for the lead on Sean Brightsman, and this is from the back of the camera on the bottom right of Sean Brightsman, the lead car. The front cam on the upper right is Dan West Jr. The big battle there on the big cam with 6 to go, Justin, in the tunnel turn.
West Jr. with the side draft into the tunnel turn. Brightsman with the squeeze out of the tunnel turn. Chris White takes advantage. White to the outside for second. Chris White right up in the P2. Looks for the lead in the 3.
He does. He throws it in there, down into the corner into turn number 3. Looking for the open hand from the flagman. 5 laps to go. White battles back inside. Brightsman, West, teammates hook up. Here comes father and son West into the middle. He slithers into the outside. West will cut him off. White will do it again into 1.
Devin West able to back out of it though. Chris White dances his way through turn 1. And West Jr. still considering and still sticking to the back bumper of the 46. How long does that last though? With 4.5 laps to go, West Jr. continues to poke and prod to the inside.
I know we're at Pocono and not a short track, Justin, but could the bump and run come into play here to try to get the win, my friend?
It'd be ugly at Pocono.
We know how popular it is. Remember, 2000, Monday afternoon, great battle between Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy Mayfield put the bump and run on the last lap, last corner to the Dale Earnhardt Intimidator and got his first career Cup Series win. Could we be setting ourselves up in the annals of virtual iRacing history for another wild one, and teammates at that? Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., 4 to go. They're starting to clear away from Chris White for 3rd.
Chris White really struggling with the tire wear. Lost half a second last time by. Bring Barnes and West back away from the leaders. West Jr. still providing pressure though on Brightsman. Brightsman has been looking like he's chewed up the right front tire much of this run. Despite being in the clean air, he's been nearly to the wall a couple times off the tunnel turn.
Working their way now into the turn 4, turn 3 part of the racetrack. Working back to the big part of start finish. Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., 46 and 55, 3 laps to go. A Toyota, a Chevrolet. Barnes trying to go 3 wide with White and Devin West as they go into turn 1 behind them.
Devin West gets into Chris White. Chris White holds on to it. Still allowing Barnes to be able to hold on to 4th. Drop Devin West back to 5th position. This builds the bumper even more so for Brightsman and West Jr. West Jr. all over the back bumper of Brightsman coming up towards 2 to go.
Some of the team LSRTV teammates now. Friends become foes, or will they battle it out? Friends to the battle of the end. Here comes Brightsman. He's not won in a while, mind you, and neither has Dan West Jr. in a cup car. The 2-time defending series champion in 2nd. The 2020 Cup Series champion of the Northwest in the lead, and 2 laps to go when they come to the start-finish line. It's Brightsman and Dan West Jr. West will now move to 2nd. White goes back to 3rd and clears by Sun West back to turn 1.
Diamonding off the corner is West Jr. though. Able to get the dive to the left side inside of Brightsman. Brightsman with the better run down towards the tunnel turn. West Jr. tucks back to the outside, right against the safer barrier. To the tunnel turn they go. West Jr. trying to set it up for another diamond.
He thought about it. He made the move up on the outside. Then he made the inside move through the block. Showed it Brightsman. Brightsman still holding off his teammate now as they work through the tunnel turn to 2. Moving now into that third turn, coming back to start finish. Sean Brightsman now. He knows the shades of the hourglass are running short. They come to start finish. They're single file. White flag in the air. CRN 1 to go. This is for the win. Brightsman West. They go ahead and in turn number 1 for the final time.
West Jr. trying another attempt to the diamond. Goes to the second line. Back down to the first. Hard through the gas. Brightsman slides up. West Jr.'s got the pull. Gets the side draft. Pulls back Brightsman. West Jr. able to zip along. Near dead even to the tunnel turn for the final time.
Dan West Jr. makes that move down to the inside. Did he wait for the right time to do it? But the crossover returns. West bounces off the wall. Here comes Brightsman. He slides. They both go sideways. Here comes West final time into the corner. Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr. A battle for the ages at Pocono. He'll dive below the bottom of the apron. He'll go to the outside. Brightsman protects the bottom. They clear away from each other. West battles back. He got him at the line. Dan West Jr. will win it. Dan West Jr. by 1/1000th of a second. Oh my goodness.
How in the world did Dan West Jr. pull that off? From a slam to the wall on a turn 2 to the pushback and the speed back through turn 3 exit to make the outside line work. What a chargeback from West Jr. on the final lap.
Dan West Jr. Look at this replay. Final time off of turn number 4. Look at how close this is. A photo finish. Probably one of the closest finishes in Northwest iRacing Cup Series history tonight at Pocono. All of this race on this tricky triangle, Justin, decided by mere 0.01 by the margin of victory. I know that our time and scoring only shows 0.01. Obviously, it'll show it more clearer when they come to the line and give us the full time and scoring rundown. But my goodness, what a battle. Dan West Jr. Ritters gives him a T-bone. What a celebration. Man, he earned that one, Justin Prince.
First victory since Richmond earlier in the season, but my goodness, that took a lot of work to do. As his son gives him the celebration party, all the tires are flying.
And he lost the wheel. Look out. Oh, Chris White just plowed the rear end of the winning car. Well, here we go. I think he's lost control. That car is destroyed. Congratulations to Dan West Jr. All right, coming up, finish line, post-race wrap-up. Here is the results, unofficial here. Look at this. Wow. So what is that? Is that 0.008? So that's 8 thousandths of a second, right, Justin? 8 thousandths of a second, the finish.
Unbelievable.
Chris White, third. Ryan Barnes, fourth. Devin West, fifth. Cooper, Stab now, way to climb back and hustle in a top 10 solid run. Tedrick as well, the Montana 200 winner. He's eighth. The rest of the rundown, including also 9th and 10th of the drivers of Caden Anderson. And how about Clifford Toby Ritter's a top 10 finish as well?
11th spot tonight goes to Troy Dagan, a very quiet race for him. Carl Burke recovers from some trouble earlier to 12th. Noah Sherwinski started off strong but finishes 13th. Briar Reynolds didn't mention his name all day in 14th. Robert Gambill finishes in 15th. Dean Moore 16th. Chris Camary, Frank Harris, Dana Rogers, Russ Lundberg, the top 20.
Solid run for Russ Lundberg also to lead some laps for the first time in his Northwest Racing Series career. Rest of the rundown includes right there Stephen Paulison, Brett Johnson, John Ottenbacher, Stefan O'Hare, Lake Peterson, Ron Hunter, James Vining, and Casey Garber. 28 drivers here tonight at Pocono. Coming up, it is the finish line post-race wrap-up. We're going to grab a word with the top three on the podium here at Pocono. And by the way, we're also at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio network identification and bring the post-race to you on the Community Radio Network. A wild one at Pocono, and it is Dan West Jr., the winner.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Welcome back to coverage of Pocono and the finish line post-race wrap-up. What a wild finish here tonight at Pocono Raceway. One that will go down to the history books. Dan West Jr. picking up the win, his second win this year. Coming up, we'll grab a word with him in just a few moments. But first, let's grab drivers on the podium. And the 2021 defending Cup Series champion of the Northwest, of course, Chris White. Chris, you tried. Did you use up your tires? Man, what a wild finish we saw here tonight. And, of course, you guys were all part of the equation as well. Solid top 5 run.
Certainly, man, that was some fun, wasn't it? Came up short. But, yeah, I think I burnt it up there a little bit. I was pushing hard. I was pushing probably as hard as I've ever pushed right there to try to get a win for this number 6 Toyota Camry. Certainly need a win. I think it would help us a lot moving forward. But yep, just ran out of some tire there. My fight for the win, I kind of think turned into defense, fighting off Brian and Devin there, just to hold on to that third place finish.
And this season has been an intriguing one for you after we've seen a lot of success with the last season of the Gen 6 car. This season's been much different for you. Best finish before tonight, Charlotte Motor Speedway at third position as well. What has this season been like, trying to fight as hard as you can for the best positions here? Because for tonight, just the 6 total top 10s, including that Charlotte race.
You know, this year's, it's just been a struggle. It's a new car, and I just haven't been able to put as much time into driving this in practice and whatnot. I'm literally coming in and turning as much practice as I can prior to the race starting. I've just got a lot going on and personal life stuff going on, and so there's a lack of focus here, but I'm doing my best to come in here each week and keep up with each week and just try to get the best finish I can get. And certainly third is good. I'd like to get, a win and more wins. But, I'll get there. Once I get things figured out and things get settled in, I think we'll be there. As long as we can get into the playoffs, I think we'll be good.
Yeah, I was going to say that got to be there at the end, and, of course, to make that opportunity for the championship run and defend your crown. 2 top 5s this season now with 7 top 10s overall, counting tonight for the driver of his number 6 machine. And, of course, that is the driver of Mr. Chris White. Chris, where I do let you go, man, thank your sponsors.
Yeah, I got W on the car, Dub Sludge. It's Energy, W Energy. Just came in touch with them here recently, partnered up with them. If you're interested, check out their website, w.gg. Use code CWR10 and you can get yourself 10% off your order. Got Willie's Addictive Barbecue on the deck lid, still supporting him. Great guy. Went up and met him about a week ago, got some good food again. Can't go wrong with this barbecue, man. It's good. You got to reach out, see what he can do for you. Appreciate you guys, LSRTV, as always, and everybody that's a part of the Northwest Racing Series. A lot of fun. We'll see you back here, I believe, Thursday night in the trucks. We'll try to do it again.
There you go. There's the thoughts here at the Trick Triangle for the man of the podium. Third spot for the driver of the 2021 Series champion of the Cup Series of the Northwest, Chris White. Second spot, ironically, 2021 champion, 2020 champion as well. Joining us, the 46 Brights Boutique entry, the Toyota of Sean Brightsman. Sean, oh my, what's going through your mind? Obviously the last restart of the race, but that final last lap, all bets are off. You're settled for second. 0.08 of a second, 0.08 of a second, by the way, for second place.
The things going through my mind is, man, what a race. I love putting on a show. I wish it was reversed. I wish I took the win. But anytime we can put on a show and I come out second, third, wrecking across start finish, I just enjoy it, especially racing with a teammate. Dan West, he sharked me. I mean, that's really what happened. I think he was going to win no matter what. He just happened to get the wall and give me a shot at it.
I'm not sure what you mean by that last term. Sharked me?
Dun dun dun.
Okay. I forgot it's Shark Week in some places right now.
Yeah, it's Shark Week for something else, so we don't mention they're not a part of our network. So
either way, regardless of that right now, when it comes to tonight, you had a lot of ups and downs, though. Strategy calls where you try to stay out of the old tires. But talk us through that tire progression tonight, as there was a lot of slipping and sliding, but also a lot of bump drafting between you and West Jr. before that last lap of craziness.
Yeah, just trying to manage the tires as best as I could. And I got off strategy there. I was hoping for green to the end, and unfortunately caution came out right about lap 34, 35, about halfway. So fuel strategy kind of went out the window. New tires went out the window. So the last restart was just about trying to push Dan and I out to an advantage. But with the draft package with this thing, there's just no way. So we tried to get away as early as possible, and I tried to save as much as I could, and just unfortunately didn't save enough.
Sean, awesome finish with you and Dan West Jr. But I tell you what, man, it looked like a good night for Team LSRTV CRN overall this evening as well.
Yeah, it was a great night for all of us. I know Jeff had a little issue there, but he ran up front, led some laps, was really a top five, maybe a top three car. We got Dan, Devin, everybody came out of the woodworks. John had a little trouble early and couldn't get it in reverse and had a tow. So that was the only real lackluster there, and Brett struggled with I think a disconnection. So just happy to see everybody running well, at least for one race. So hopefully we can do it again this Thursday at Pocono again.
That's right. Trucks back here at Pocono Thursday night. All right, Sean, before I let you go, man, thank your sponsors, that 46 machine. Good job, second spot tonight.
Thanks, Wes. Just got to give it up to Brights Boutique, and check us out on etsy.com/shop/Brights Boutique, or just search Etsy shop Brights Boutique. Got to give it up to Central Welding Supply, Blenders Eyewear, CRN, LSRTV, and then just everybody at the Northwest Racing Series and everybody at the Tiamat LSRTV / the good guys, the alliances there that we have. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
John Brightsman, he'll settle for the number 2 spot here tonight in the number 46 machine here at the Pocono Raceway. Again, looking at another solid run for him. That includes, with 1 win this year, 6 top 5s and 8 top 10s after tonight's event. There we go. Moving into the next spot, and that is the winner. Oh, correction, actually just updated. 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s for the driver of the 46, and he goes to 6th. Caden Anderson, by the way, has just took the points lead away again. 1 point, 2 points now over Lake Peterson, Brian Barnes as well. And finally, to victory lane, 8 thousandths of a second. Congratulations, Dan West Jr. He used the quote, "He sharked me." You bounced off the wall, you bonsai'd, you made a move. Did you know the outside was the way to be? You had to stay on the top of the racetrack to get that momentum for the win to hold off Brightsman, and congratulations to you.
Thanks, Wesley. No, I didn't know if that was what place to be, but I knew that he was going to. I had a pretty good run coming off of 3, and I knew that Sean was, he was going to block the bottom. So I just let it ride to the top, and it opened up, and you just hope, right? You just let it wait.
And that leads into the next question. Was that the process then on you bump drafting Brightsman for much of that final run to set things up into the final lap? Or was that another play coming in towards just trying to work like a super speedway here at Pocono today?
Yeah, the race was playing out kind of like I wanted. I was just had a teammate in front of me, whether it was Jeff out front there for a while or Sean. And, I felt like if we could just run our race and maybe just get out there a little ways and get comfortable, save our stuff, and then it'd be up to us at the end, right? Just put on a show. But Chris, he wasn't having any part of that. He was sticking his nose in there and trying to make a race out of it. And I was trying to save and save and save, and I kept saying I'm waiting for him to lose the right front, use up his tires, and he held on a lot longer than I thought he would.
Do you race differently, Dan, when you know you're battling a guy like your teammate with Sean Brightsman or Jeff Stabnow or Auden Bacher? Because, I mean, obviously, there's got to be some respect earned, respect given, taken there. But when that white flag comes out, is it pretty much all bets off? You got to do what you got to do to get that win?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I don't think Sean would respect me if I didn't. So, and it just makes it fun, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like Sean. I don't. I'm here for each race. I'm not looking at championships. I'm here to have fun for each race. And if I'm not going to give it my 110% every race, then I shouldn't be out here. So, yeah, I mean, I was, as far as, bump drafting and, Chris had a run on Sean, and I'm going to go with my teammates. So, and unfortunately that helped us, because I think Chris had a shot at getting out front there for a moment. But once it's the white flag, like say, all bets are off. I mean, I'm not going to wreck him. I mean, at the end of the day, if we can go across the line side by side, like Sean said, sideways, that would be ideal, right? And both of us, but that's about as close as it's going to come, 8,000ths of a second.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, man. Before I let you go, thank your sponsors. Congratulations to you. Second win this year also.
Thanks, man. It's been a rough year, so I'll definitely take each one and enjoy each one. They're getting harder and harder to come by with the group of guys we have in this team, in this league, right? I'd like to thank Effective Web Solutions, CRN, LSRTV, and just the guys on the team. I mean, I couldn't be happier with the group of guys we have. They're just obviously patient with each other out on the track, as you've seen, and just a good group of guys to hang out with. So thank you guys to Northwest Racing League and all the admins and everybody that puts us on. Thanks, guys.
Dan West Jr., don't keep yourself out of luck just yet. He's got another opportunity with another win, 2 wins with that 6 top 5s and 9 top 10s to put him now in the number 5 position in the point standings, the 2-time defending Northwest Truck Series champion in the 55, winning here tonight at Pocono. With that, we'll wrap it up on the finish line post-race wrap-up. Justin, always fun working with you. Pocono, man, did not disappoint. Your final thoughts as we wrap it up and we come back here Thursday night with the trucks.
Well, that was a stellar finish, to say the very least. Potentially a top 10 finish out of the entire month, you could probably argue, for the platform. That was a bumping and banging finish off the walls, sending it as hard as possible. It takes so much work to be able to have that chance, mind you, to position yourself for the victory. But you could tell both West Jr. and Brightsman wanted that and wanted that bad. All the way to the checker flag. They were not going to give up until one of them won that race. And keep in mind, one big mistake from either of them, Chris White was right there potentially in the popcorn seat. And that's why you also, in turn, want to be in that chance to be able to pop forward once drivers slip back. But in the end, West Jr. executed the best out of the crazy final lap.
Yeah, as we heard, of course, Sean Brightsman say, Dan West Jr. sharked me, and he made that shark move work, and himself bouncing off the wall, putting himself in a contention at the right moment. One awesome finish here tonight at Pocono, not only for Pocono, but probably for this series. We're going to pack her up, get on out of here. Thanks for watching on iRacing on LSRTV, listening on the Community Radio Network, of course, LSRTV, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and CRN Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, at Northwest Racing Series on Facebook. Join us if you're part of the Pacific Northwest. Be a part of the fun. This is so awesome. The trucks are back here on Thursday night. We're off to New Hampshire next Monday. For Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, Rocket Media, Live Sim Racing TV Productions, for Justin Prince, I'm Wesley Outlet. Congratulations to a wild finish.